House Republicans are slamming DHS for letting high-tech border security tools apparently just go to waste while taxpayers have already paid for them. Our next guest wrote a letter to the DHS demanding that they use every available resource. Congresswoman Young Kim joins us right now from Capitol Hill. Congresswoman, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Steve.
Yeah, this is so important because we have heard Joe Biden talk about the smart technology at our southern border, and we've got a lot of it, but we're not using it, are we?
That's so true. I personally went down to the Del Rio sector of our southern border in Texas. Not only that, I went down to other parts of our southern border 3 times. And I've seen it myself, especially at Del Rio sector. In March, when I visited most recently, they have used AST towers and fiber optic sensors to apprehend those migrants that are crossing our border. And we also was able to apprehend illicit activities such as drug trafficking that's taking place. Right. So now I know those are technology that is helping to apprehend migrants, but our government and our administration is not doing it. So my colleague and I and many others have written letter to Department of Homeland Security Mayorkas to demand some answers as to what type of technology are not being used when we already spend so much funds to procure those, AST towers and other resources that we have. Deploy them. Get the control back of our southern borders.
Sure.
Yes.
And you want to know how much of the technology still works and if there are any plans to use them elsewhere in government, because we've already bought this stuff and it's just rotting in a warehouse. But Congresswoman, you know the reason they're not deploying it to the southern border is because this stuff actually works pretty well.
It works really well. About 10% of those migrants that were apprehended and those human trafficking, illegal activities that is taking place, that is smuggling the drugs into our countries, 10% of those have been apprehended because of the AAC towers that I saw. And they were using it at the Del Rio sector. So I'm demanding answers as to how much of those tools are not being used, how much of them that are being stored in our warehouses are still operational that we can still use, or do we have to make those changes to make it operational? These are a lot of questions that have gone unanswered, and how much do we have to reimburse those contractors that contracts have been canceled because of the department's inactivity?
Right. Well, and when Joe Biden came in, he made it very clear, Congresswoman, he was going to pull the plug on the wall, and we know that that is rusting in a field in various parts on our southern border. But we have heard the president talk about the smart technology. Ultimately, why doesn't the Department of Homeland Security use it, in your estimation?
Well, first of all, they are not being serious about taking control back of our southern border. They have to get down there. Just once by Department of Homeland Security Mayor Gus visiting them is not good enough. They have seen it. He's been down there talking to the border agents, so they know what kind of crisis we have. So get down there, be serious, and get control back of our southern border, like I've done, and many of my colleagues have done. That we have technology, we have resources. Just use them, make it operational, get control back, be serious.
We've already bought it. Let's use it. That's what it comes down to.
And they're being stored at taxpayers' expense, as you said.
Indeed. There's so much waste in the world. If we've bought it, let's use it. Congresswoman Young Kim, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. By the way, we contacted the Department of Homeland Security and asked them for a comment. Nobody picked up. We'll keep you posted if they do. All right.